Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day. And today is the day I'm finishing my Wham and George Michael discography journey. We have come to the end of this amazing journey, and I'm going to miss it so much because I have grown to appreciate George Michael's music so much. And I can officially say now that George Michael is one of my favorite singers of all time. And it's so sad to finish this discography, but all good things have to come to an end. So I'll be checking out his fifth and final studio album from 2004, 16 years ago, called Patience. It is the follow up album to his 1996 album Older. And I haven't heard this album before. There is one track in particular that I did listen to in my previous George Michael video. I listened to it by accident. I didn't mean to. My prior video was a collection of songs he released from his greatest hits album 25. And accidentally, I listened to track number 11, Please Send Me Someone, and Selmo's song. So I listened to that song already, so I probably won't listen to it again in this video. If you want to know my impression of that song, you can check out my prior George Michael video I uploaded last week. But other than that, I'm ready to roll. There are 14 tracks, and the album is 1 hour and 11 minutes. And I think that's all I wanted to say. So we're gonna have a party and we're gonna have some fun listening to the final video in this George Michael discography journey. So sad. Anyway, let's start off with track number 1, Patience.
It's like a conversation where no one stops to breathe. Such destruction and pure white castles in the sand. And the satellite says, take a look at all we have. You want my family for your liberty. Look into the eyes of any patient on imaginary shelves. But the satellite says,
alrighty, so that was track number 1, Patience, and we're kicking off the album with a cryptic song. At least it is to me, looking at the lyrics. And I could sit here for a very long time trying to grasp what he's trying to talk about. I only have so much time in these videos to give you my impression before I have to move on to the next song. So he's saying it's like a conversation where no one stops to breathe. Is it my imagination, or did God already leave the table? Such destruction and pure white castles in the sand. I mean, I have no idea. And this has happened many times before where I'm listening to a George Michael song and I don't necessarily know what he's talking about because his lyrics are so meaningful, they're so deep, and they're so cryptic that I honestly don't usually know what he's talking about. With all the money changing hands and the satellite says, take a look at all we have, but the old man says, you want my family for the liberty, I can't do that. So if you guys know what this song is about, leave a comment. I thought this was a soft, delicate song. I enjoyed the piano. I always love listening to a piano in a song. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know if this would be a song I would go back to. This is more so a song, at least in my opinion, this is a song you listen to if you're to listen to the album in whole like I am, track by track. You know, initially before I started this YouTube channel, I would never listen to albums in full. I would occasionally from my favorite artists, but I would always just listen to the singles or select tracks from an album. I would never go track by track. And I feel like Patience is a great way to start off an album that is entitled Patience, even though I don't know what the song's about. And from my experience, the first track of an album is usually the song that sets the mood and tone for what is to come in the rest of the album. So anyway, let's move on to track number 2, Amazing.
I think it's amazing.
Alrighty, so that was track number 2, Amazing. And I get the impression that George might be in love. I get the sense that he's singing about love. He's saying, I was going down for the third time. My heart was broken. I was not open to your suggestions. Had so many questions that you just kissed away. And then he says, I guess that Cupid was a disguise. The day you walked in and changed my life. I think it's amazing the way that love can set you free. So now I walk in the midday sun. I never thought that my savior would come. I thought that loving you was out of the question, and then I saw my reflection saying, please don't let this go. And I've said before, I don't know too much about George Michael's personal life, but I do know that at this point, 2004, he was out of the closet for quite a while already, and everyone knew he was gay, so I feel like he's celebrating the fact that he can be in love with the one he wants. He thinks it's amazing. I never thought I would see love. I said celebrate the love of the one you need, of the one you want. Doesn't matter who it is, man, woman, doesn't matter who you're attracted to, who you're in love with, just embrace that person and love them, and it's gonna feel amazing. And he's saying here we're like victims of the same disease. Look at your big bad daddy and your mom was always acting crazy. I was going down for the third time. So I don't know too much about George Michael's parents. I don't know if this is a metaphor. I don't know if he's talking about himself or someone else's parents. I don't know, but from my impression, he's saying we both had rough childhoods. We didn't have the best parents. Your mom was always acting crazy, like mine, perhaps. And my heart was broken. I thought that loving you was out of the question. So, because you're mad, I mean, I'm assuming he might be singing about a man. At this point, he was out of the closet. So I thought that loving you was out of the question. So I thought because you are a man, I thought loving you was out of the question. I thought I had to love a woman my whole life and live a lie. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm getting out of the song when I'm reading the lyrics. Again, I only have so many minutes to read the lyrics and try to figure out what he's saying. But that's what I picked up from reading the lyrics. And at the very end, he says, as this life gets colder and the devil inside tells you to give up. He could also be singing about his struggle with addiction. A lot of you let me know in my prior George Michael videos in the comments that he did have a drug addiction. And I'm looking at an article here from 2017 where the headline states, George Michael's ex reveals he flushed singer's drugs. In an interview with The Sun, Kenny Goss claims Michael used crack cocaine, ecstasy, and marijuana. And it's saying Kenny Goss was with George for 15 years up until 2011. He also said the pop superstar's escalating drug use was an ongoing concern and put a strain on the relationship. At one point, he was smoking 25 joints a day. I saw him smoke weed all the time, but never hardcore drugs. I heavily disapproved so he wouldn't be around me in that state. I mean, I could go on, and I didn't want to bring up his addiction, but I feel like because I'm going on this discography journey, I feel like it's prevalent to his music and his life, because in a way I am going through his life as I'm listening to these albums through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I said this many times where when I go on these discography journeys, I feel like a parent because I watch these artists grow and change through the years. So I feel like knowing about the addiction he had is prevalent to me understanding his music better. But anyway, let's move on to track number 3. John and Elvis are dead.
Close friend of mine as a child said if Jesus Christ is alive and well, then how come John and Elvis are dead? How come Marvin and Elvis are dead?
Okay, and that was track number 3, John and Elvis are dead. And he is alluding to Elvis Presley and John Lennon. He also says at the bottom here, at the very end of the song, how come Marvin and Elvis are dead? So he is also referring to Marvin Gaye as well. Hey boy, if Jesus Christ is alive and well, how come John and Elvis are dead? How come Marvin and Elvis are dead? I said if Jesus Christ is going to save us from ourselves, how come peace, love, and Elvis are dead. This is another one of those cryptic George Michael songs. He turned to me and said, "Hey boy, if Jesus Christ is alive and well, how come John and Elvis are dead?" I did enjoy the song, even though it is a bit somber. I feel like this whole album so far, 3 tracks in, is a bit somber, and it's not the happiest album. It's not going to put you in the best mood, at least so far, listening to 3 tracks. My favorite part of the album so far is the lyrics. Once again, I've always loved George Michael's lyrics because they're so meaningful, they have so much depth. Like I said before, they are cryptic at times, and there is a lot of social commentary in the songs as well. So that's what I enjoy about the songs. Even though I feel like these songs in particular I would really go back to. I don't know if I would listen to them again. They just wouldn't be in heavy rotation like some of his other albums. But anyway, let's move on to track number 4, Cars and Trains.
Woman's gone and got herself a movement. It's a shame. Nobody's keeping score. I don't say hi to those guys no more. As they knock on the door. Just taking your ass to the top of that building. Charlie's gone and got himself a movement. He gets laid. Knock on your door. Just taking your ass to the top of that building. Under the wheels. Under cars and trains. So young and fucked up, baby.
Alrighty, so that was track number 4, Cars and Trains. This is a song that I feel like has a lot going on, and I mean, I'm gonna try and decipher it as best I can, but he's saying Mama's gone and got herself a new man. It's a shame he's the same. Mama, please stop pretending. This time it won't end in tears. That's the beginning of the track. Then further down near the end, he sings about a young girl. Pretty girl, little girl, what were you thinking? Just 18 at the time. You were a mother and child at the same time. You were a mother and child, so young and fucked up. And he's also saying that Johnny's gone and got himself a new man. He gets laid every day. Johnny, please stop pretending. This time may just end in tears. Take care of yourself because you won't find daddy when you're popping those pills. So this song is about a teenage mom who was quite young when she had her child. It's also talking about a man who is popping pills, who is addicted to drugs perhaps. He is sleeping around with other men as well. Johnny, those guys that you shake it for, I said, Johnny, can't you hear them saying mama knows best as they knock on your door. So he's singing about this one person who is a pretty girl, just 18 at the time when you were a mother and child, and then he's singing about this Johnny as well, who is shaking it for guys, popping pills. So I don't know if this Johnny character, I mean, it could mean so many different things. Like, I have no idea. This Johnny character can be a metaphor for something. Maybe he's not even a real person. Maybe, I mean, I honestly have no idea. Throwing yourself under cars and trains, taking the pill that you know will kill you. So once again, if you know what this song is about, let me know in the comments. If you know what this whole album is about so far, let me know in the comments. I did like the song. It is a bit more upbeat than the rest of the tracks on the album, but when you read the lyrics, it does put you in a very somber mood. I said, Jesus, Mary, and the saints above, won't you show him love? I said, Jesus, Mary, and the saints above, won't you show him love? He's talking about religious themes once again with Jesus, Mary, and the saints above, just like track number 3 where he brought up God and Jesus. And faith does seem to run through a lot of his albums and songs. He does tend to sing about Jesus and God on this album in particular, so I imagine it might have been a struggle at times being a man of faith, but also a homosexual. So now let's move on to track number 5, Round Here.
My daddy got here on the gravy train. I guess my mama had a real bad start to the game. They went walking and she took
Okay, and that was track number 5, Around Here. And from reading the lyrics, he seems to be singing about his parents quite a bit in these songs. He keeps using the words mama and daddy. Obviously, in the gay community, daddy means something different. And he's saying it was 1957 and love felt the same. Love felt the same. Frightened little girl, she makes a break into the arms of something better. I guess my mama had a real bad start to the game. They went walking and she took his name. So clearly he's talking about his parents right here. There was dancing in the afternoon those days, wait tables, chasing girls with the money he made. It was 1957. And I remember my first day of school. And I remember trouble and thinking I was so cool. So I feel like, I mean, so far I'm 5 tracks in. I feel like I'm reading a very personal diary that belonged to George. He's talking about his childhood. He's singing about love, and there's political commentary as well. So he's singing about his parents, I imagine, and his childhood growing up. Not just this track, but I feel like this whole album so far, I feel like the lyrics are the high point on this album. It's really keeping me interested, but the actual music itself, it's not really interesting me. I don't think the songs are the most memorable in his discography, and I don't know how I feel about them just yet. But anyway, let's move on to track number 6, Shoot the Dog. And it says in brackets that this is a bonus track. Okay, so that was track number 6, Shoot the Dog. Again, I feel like there was a lot happening in this song as well. And I mean, where do I start? First and foremost, he keeps saying, I'm gonna shoot the dog. It's party time every day. I spent Saturday night on Novocaine. I called the pigs, but nobody came. Did you see that fire in the city? It's like we're fresh out of a Democratic. And then further along, he does use the word bush. But there's something about that Bush ain't right, and Bush is capitalized, which leads me to believe he's talking about George Bush. Gotta get yourself a little something semi-automatic, yeah, that's why I'm always getting stoned. Good puppy, rolling on over for the man. So this is obviously a very politically driven song. He's talking about politics, George Bush, guns, I imagine, the States, the United States of America back in 2004. And he's bringing up all these other words and names that I don't really know the meaning of. He's saying Sergeant Bilko. I believe in truth through a lie a lot. I feel the pain from the push and shove. No matter what you put me through, I'll still believe in love. We're getting freaky tonight. It's gonna be alright. I'm sorry if I'm talking about the lyrics a lot in this video. I feel like I talk about lyrics a lot in these videos, in particular the George Michael videos that I do, but I just find them so fascinating. Could you leave the way clear for sex tonight? Tell him, Tony, I know that you're horny. And all of this backed up by a more upbeat sounding production that makes you want to dance. And George sounds very sexy in this song. His voice is so deep and so seductive. I really enjoyed listening to this track. And once again, if you know the full meaning behind this song and album in general, let me know in the comments. So let's move on to track number 7, My Mother Had a Brother.
My mother had a brother. Tell me again why he died. She said he couldn't wait for the things that I've seen. Tell him from your boy, I'm still breathing in it.
Alrighty, so that was track number 7. My Mother Had a Brother. Oh my god, these songs. I mean, this is a workout listening to this album, I will say. It's a little emotionally draining. And this song is no exception. Though I will say, this is probably one of my favorite songs on the album so far. Obviously, he's singing about the very first line says, "My mother had a brother," and then he goes on to say, this brother of his mother's was oversensitive and kind. And then he also goes on to say, "But mama, will you tell him from your boy the times they change? I guess the world was getting warmer and we got stronger. Mother, will you tell him about my joy? I live each day for him. My mother had a brother, same desire, different time. Seems the empty spaces tortured him until he took his own life." So, and I mean, from what I'm picking up when I'm reading the lyrics, I mean, I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm getting the assumption that his mother's brother might have had issues with his sexuality, because it does say same desire, different time. So, same desire, I'm thinking this means having the desire for men like George had. Different time. His mother's brother grew up in a different time when homosexuality wasn't as accepted as it is now. Seems the empty spaces tortured him. Having to live on his own, having to hide a secret, having to live in isolation, of not loving who he wanted to until he took his own life. So it looks like his mother's brother took his own life because of the isolation of not being able to love the person he wanted to. Same desire, different time. It tortured him, so he took his own life. That's what I picked up from the song. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to interpret what I'm reading here. And then he says, "Mama, will you tell him from your boy the times they changed? I guess the world was getting warmer." So perhaps he's meaning the world is now more accepting. They're warming up to the idea of homosexuality and same-sex love. "Mother, will you tell him about my joy? I live each day with him. Your son came out." Yeah. So George Michael came out of the closet and he's feeling the joy and the love, and I'm still breathing it in. "I was a prisoner, but he saved me. Broke into my dreams and said, 'Who cares?'" Broke into my dreams. So perhaps her mother's brother visited George in his dreams and said, "Who cares? I was a prisoner, so disgraced me. I'm glad to be home, and I don't believe they care. I don't believe they care who I really am. I don't believe they care about my sexuality and who I choose to love." I mean, lyrically, this song is so fucking powerful. My feeling is that this is probably one of George's most emotionally stirring albums he's ever put out. Which is a little disappointing because I'm looking at the reviews for this album, and a lot of them are pretty negative. A lot of them were kind of indifferent. 3 out of 5. A lot of 3 out of 5s, but I'm seeing a lot of 2.5 out of 5, 2 out of 5. There's one 4 out of 10. So I feel like the initial reaction to this album wasn't the greatest. I feel like it was very lukewarm. Oh, and I'm reading here, the second single, "Shoot the Dog," was released in July 2002. It was not released as a single in Canada or the US over sensitivity to the September 11th attacks in 2001. It was not included on the Patience album in those countries. So I guess that's why it says on this track list on Apple Music that it's a bonus track. I mean, I don't know why this album is affecting me so much. I guess it's because I put so much importance on lyrics. I don't know, maybe because I'm a writer, I do like to write books, so I guess that's why words resonate so closely with me, but this album is just stirring something deep inside of me that I didn't think would happen. Especially this song in particular, because I feel like if I'm right about my analysis of the song, I feel like the reason why this song resonates so much with me, track number 7, "My Mother Had a Brother," is because I've struggled with my sexuality in the past, and I've been in the closet, and I know the pain of having to hide who you really are and not being able to express yourself the way you want to and love whomever you want. And when you can't do that, it feels like the world is crashing down on you. It feels like the walls are closing in and it's consistently squeezing you until you are, out of room and you can't do anything else but eventually perhaps take your life, which, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and say that I didn't toy with the idea of taking my life in the past, which has crossed my mind. I feel like the idea does cross a lot of people's minds who have struggled with their sexuality in the past. And this is really bothering me. I do want to look up quickly and see if George's mother's brother was what I said he was. I'm actually reading an article here from The Guardian, and it says there was a terrible history of depression in the family. My poor old mom, she found both her father and her brother both stuck their head in gas ovens. He was told that his uncle killed himself the day Michael was born. And it says here, on My Mother Had a Brother, Michael thanked his uncle, a gay man who was closeted until he committed suicide on the day Michael was born. And we still have 7 more tracks on the album. Okay, we need to kind of move things along here. I'm really sorry if I'm taking a lot of time on each and every one of these songs, but this album is just filled with emotion. Anyway, let's move on to track number 8, Flawless, Go to the City.
Like no other.
Okay, so that was track number 8, Flawless, Go to the City. Finally, we have a breather from all the heavy subject matter that I've been reading so far on this album. A light, fun dance song. Okay, I can breathe now, finally. I won't spend too much time on this song. I feel like it's very straightforward. Flawless, Go to the City. I'm not even gonna really analyze the lyrics, so the music may yet be your savior, blah blah blah. Okay, this was fun to dance to. It was a nice breath of fresh air, and I enjoyed listening to it. I will say though, this song does sound very current. Flawless, Go to the City. For a song that was released back in 2004, it sounds like a song that could have been released today. It's very dance oriented and it was fun to listen to. So now let's move on to track number 9, American Angel.
Bless the day you came into my life. I still remember my American angel doesn't want to fight, doesn't need to fight. Yesterday it seemed my life was colder than December. My American angel doesn't want to fight, doesn't need to fight. My US of angel holds me in the dead of night.
Alrighty, so that was track number 9, American Angel, and I actually like this song. I like the atmosphere it set. I like the mood. It was very relaxing and chill, and he does sing about America quite a bit in this song. He brings up different states like California at one point, I believe, and he also brings up with that Texan smile. Horny cowboy with your stars and stripes, bringing the light into my day with your Texan smile. Too afraid to love. Bless the day you came into my life. I still remember. My American Angel, the US of Angel. So I don't know if he's singing about a relationship he had with someone who was American, an American dad perhaps. He could also be singing about something more political, like the war that was happening in Afghanistan and Iraq at the time. He could be singing about someone he had a relationship with who was American, who lived in the States, an American man, horny cowboy with your stars and stripes. So maybe he was from Texas with your Texan smile. He was a cowboy, I don't know. Maybe he had that cowboy swag that George liked. My American Angel. He could also be talking about something more political like he did in Shoot the Dog with bringing up George Bush and, alluding to September 11th and all that. I don't know. My American Angel, he doesn't want to fight, doesn't need to fight. My US of Angel, he doesn't want to fight. So maybe that's alluding to this man not wanting to go to war. Once again, this could mean many things. I don't know too much about George Michael's life, so leave a comment as to what this song is about, American Angel. So now let's move on to track number 10, Precious Box.
circle where the life comes in my life. Ooh, so let me in. You know you kinda got under my skin. Making more money than your daddy could ever imagine. But people can go out of fashion. I really find someone like you. Something extra. Many ways, but you make it good.
Okay, and that was track number 10, Precious Box. And this is a more dance-oriented song, which I enjoyed. And I actually like this song. The lyrics, I mean, this song is over 7 minutes. And the lyrics I feel like are pretty straightforward. You look so fine in your Gucci suit and you're making more money than your daddy could have imagined, but people can go out of fashion. Take that picture, stop acting so dumb. I will find someone like you, but with something extra. I'm sorry, baby. You know I hate my job, I try to save, but God, there's just never enough. She's on Fox, and she's a little beauty, and Fox is capitalized, so I imagine he might be talking about Fox News. I don't know, the fact that Fox is capitalized, I feel like it could mean different things, but what comes to mind for me is Fox News, but obviously it could mean different things. So I did enjoy the song, but I don't think I'm gonna delve into the lyrics too much. I just feel like I need to move along on this video. But I liked it. So now let's move on to track number 11. Please Send Me Someone, Anselmo's song, which I listened to, like I said at the beginning of this video, I accidentally listened to the song when I was listening to his greatest hits album called 25 in my prior video. I think I will briefly listen to this song again just so the album flows together and the story continues. I don't want to skip over a song and then that somehow breaks my concentration on what's happening on the album. It might not make sense to you, but I just don't want the flow of the album to break if I was to skip over a track. So I'm just gonna briefly listen to the song again.
Some people say you can see it in his eyes. Anytime, any day, anytime, any day now. Someone to love. Anytime, any day, anytime, any day now. Please, please.
Okay, and that was track number 11. Please Send Me Someone, Anselmo's song. And I forget what my initial reaction was to the song in my prior video. I forgot what my impression was of the song, but listening to it in the context of this album, I do enjoy it. I like the melody. I like the production on the song in particular. I like how he sounds in it. And I actually really enjoyed the song as a whole. He said, please send me someone to love any time, any day, anytime, any day now. And darling, though I can't replace you, there's a space in my heart. Just give me something that will pull me back from the blue. Send me someone like you. So he's saying, darling, no, I can't replace you. There's a space in my heart. So he can't replace this person that they left in his heart. But he's also saying, just give me something that will pull me back from the blue. Please send me someone to love. I mean, if that doesn't break your heart, I don't know what will. So now let's move on to track number 12, Freek, the 04 version. Okay, so that was Freek, and this was actually the lead single off the album Patience. And I held off on, why do I feel like I've heard this song before? Was this song on one of his other albums? Because it says the 04 version, and am I just an idiot? It says Freek is a single written and performed by English singer George Michael, and a remastered version called Freek 04 was later featured on his album Patience. I thought this was a really sexy song. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. It's a nice change up of the aesthetic and theme of the album so far, which is more heavy handed, more somber, more politically driven. This was just more frivolous fun. I actually couldn't read the lyrics because it said lyrics aren't available for this song for whatever reason. I could have looked them up on Google, which is what I usually do when the lyrics aren't available for a particular song at Apple Music, but I didn't do it. At the end of the day, I still enjoyed listening to the song. It was a lot of fun and it was sexy. You could tell he was having a lot of fun recording this song. You know, his voice was very sexy, it was very playful, and it was a lot of fun. I love the heavy breathing too. It was very sexy. Anyway, now we have 2 tracks left on the album. Let's move on to track number 13, Through. And I won't lie, I'm getting a bit hot now wearing this puffer jacket. As to why I'm wearing this puffer jacket in this video, I couldn't tell you why. I think it's because my apartment is a little cold right now. It's raining, and for whatever reason, it's May, but it's still cold outside. But the long weekend is coming up, and it's supposed to warm up to the mid to high 20s, which is the complete opposite of what it is right now. So anyway, I don't know why I said that. So let's move on to track number 13, Through.
Is that enough? I think it's over. They may chase me to the ends of the earth, but I've got you. So hear me now. I've enough of these chains. I know they're of my making. No one else to blame. They may take away the things that I've worked for. I'm sorry. I think I'm through. I think I'm through.
Okay, so that was the second to last track, Through. I enjoyed the song. He's singing about, where do I start? No one else to blame for where I stand today. I have no memory of truth, but suddenly the audience is so cruel. So God, hey God, you know I'm through. I guess it's tough. I guess I'm older and everything must change. But all this cruelty and money instead of love, people, have we no shame? But I've got you, babe, and they may take away the things that I've worked for, but you'll pull me through, babe. Enough said. This was another great George Michael song, and he's just a wonderful human being, isn't he? And all this hatred may just make me strong enough to walk away. They may chase me to the ends of the earth, but I've got you, babe. Oh, that's my reaction to that song. I'm so tired right now. Okay, this was a lot. We have still 1 track left. Track number 14, Patience Part 2, the bonus track. And that's it. So that is that. That is the conclusion of Patience by George Michael. Wow, this was an odyssey. Not just the whole discography journey that I went through, starting with Wham and now George Michael. This album was an odyssey. So many emotions. I feel like I said this before. I feel like I was reading George's personal diary. The lyrics really are something to behold, and this is just a testament to how great a songwriter George Michael is. He is flawless in his songwriting, and he is just simply remarkable. And it's a shame that so many people did like this album. I know a couple of you have said that this album isn't very good. A lot of you feel like this is his weakest album, which I don't know, I have to listen to a couple more times, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. I feel like the people who are giving it negative reviews did actually read the lyrics, because his lyrics are some of the most emotionally stirring I've ever read. And just like his album Older, which I remember liking, I remember saying Older wasn't one of my favorite George Michael albums, but Older is definitely an album that has grown on me, and I can really appreciate it a lot more now, and I really enjoy it. So I imagine Patience will also grow on me as well, and become a remarkable George Michael album, in my opinion. I don't know if this is one of George's strongest albums, but lyrically, I mean, the lyrics took my breath away. They were so emotional and so personal and so raw, and I learned so much about George Michael after listening to this particular album. And because the lyrics resonate so deeply with me, it makes the song so much more special, in my opinion, and I really enjoyed all the songs on this album. I can maybe see why some people wouldn't enjoy this album. It can come across as boring at times and not very memorable when it comes to the melodies and production or what have you, but this is an album you really have to read the lyrics to fully appreciate it. There are a lot of albums out there where you don't need to read the lyrics and you end up enjoying it, but this is an album I feel like it's almost a necessity where you have to read the lyrics. You know, there were a couple tracks on here that got me teary-eyed, especially at track number 7, My Mother Had a Brother. I forgot to mention this during my reaction, but I actually kind of got teary-eyed when I was listening to that song. And this album was released in 2004. He did die in 2016, so 12 years after this album was released. So I keep thinking, oh, there's another George Michael album after this I can listen to. There's a couple more George Michael albums after this album that I can listen to. Nope, there's no more. Which is a little disappointing because he had such an amazing gift when it came to expressing his thoughts and feelings about his personal life, about love, about, you know, what is happening in the world politically and the political undertones of a lot of his songs. He's such a passionate, powerful songwriter and artist that I just wish his talent was more utilized for more albums. But maybe he felt the need, he didn't need to release any more albums. Maybe he felt like he said everything he needed to. I know on the Wikipedia page for Patience, there was a part where he said, what was it? Michael announced Patience would be his last album on sale to the public as a physical release. He says, I've been very well remunerated. That's not a word you come across much, remunerated. Anyway, I've been very well remunerated for my many talents over the years, so I really don't need the public's money. I like to have something on the internet, which is a charitable download site where anyone can download my music for free. I'll have my favorite charities up there and people will hopefully donate to that. He stated that the decision would put less pressure to produce a new album every so often and allow him to have more of a private life. He told BBC Radio 1 on the 10th of March 2004 that music he put out in the future would be available for download, with fans encouraged to make a donation to charity. You know, George Michael is someone special, honestly. He's a national treasure. He just seems to be one of the... I mean, I don't know him as a person, obviously, I've never met him, but he just seems and comes across as a very great guy. I mean, that's the best word I could use to describe how I feel about him. He just comes across as a great, genuine, loving guy. And I have to say that my Wham and George Michael discography journey is probably one of my favorite discography journeys that I've gone on so far. Starting with his very first Wham album in the early 80s and just watching him grow and progress into a man and just talking about everything he was feeling and what was happening in the world and being a closeted homosexual at the time and dealing with that and dealing with the struggles of love and loss and just everything that comes with being a human being. I have nothing but praise for George Michael and his music. I have loved every single one of his albums, his solo albums and his Wham albums, and I will continue listening to his music until the day I die. George is definitely one of those artists whose music will stand the test of time years from now. Just like Mariah Carey, and the reason I bring her up is because yesterday I finished my Mariah Carey discography journey, listening to all of her albums for the first time. She has 15 albums, and I can appreciate her as a songwriter as well. She has some beautiful melodies, some beautiful lyrics, just like George Michael. They are powerhouse lyricists, and they will both stand the test of time as fantastic musicians and people. And I think that's all I wanted to say. What are your thoughts on the album Patience? What are your favorite tracks? Maybe you didn't like it as much as me. Tell me why. What did you think of it when you first heard it? Has it grown on you now? And what are your favorite George Michael albums? What are your favorite George Michael songs? And finally, my final question to you is, what do you think of George Michael? What does he mean to you? Did you grow up with him? Did you discover his music early on? Maybe he's your favorite artist of all time. Maybe you have some amazing memories associated with his music when you heard his albums for the first time. Maybe with a special someone. Maybe you were traveling somewhere. Maybe you were going through a rough time in your life. Maybe you were going through a happy time in your life. Tell me your stories. What does George Michael mean to you? Because I'm going to tell you right now, George Michael means a lot to me. And finally, I want to say thank you, George Michael, for letting me into your life. Just from reading your lyrics album to album and discovering your life through your music, the highs, the lows, the happiness and the sadness, the love and the heartache, everything in between. Thank you for letting me into your life. You will be missed forever, and thank you. So I think that's all I want to say. After this video right here, I won't be uploading any more George Michael videos because I have no more George Michael albums to listen to, except for his... what is it? It is his Symphonica album he released in 2014, which I might do a video on. I'm leaning towards doing a video on, actually. I am actually very curious about this album, and I'm kind of tempted to record a video to me listening to this album for the first time, so I feel like down the line I will. But after this album, Symphonica, there will be nothing left. So I do eventually want to go on my George Michael music video journey, which I think would be amazing. I don't think I've seen any George Michael music videos before, except for maybe his Faith music video. But that's it, so I think that would be really exciting. But for the time being, I want to say thank you for coming along on this George Michael journey. I learned a lot about music and what is to be a human being just from reading his lyrics. They're very special, they're very passionate. He has a great voice, I love his voice. His voice is instantly recognizable wherever you go. If you were to turn on the radio and just hear one syllable out of his mouth, you will know instantly that's George Michael because he has such a unique, great voice. And to me, he's one of the greatest male musicians of all time, even though I haven't heard many male musicians throughout my life. And when I say many, I say that in the sense that I haven't listened to many male musicians prior to 1990. There are a lot of male musicians from the 21st century, the 90s I've listened to, obviously that's the time period that I grew up in, but there aren't a lot of male musicians that I've listened to prior to 1990. So that's definitely something I want to do in the future. I definitely want to even go on my David Bowie discography journey, Elton John, what have you, Michael Jackson, all that. So enough talking. Thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artists from any decade, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.